Good, was good, YouTube. It is your girl Trisha checking back in with a Sunday Easter message for you. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. And you guys, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And also drop a comment. Let me know that you in the building with me here. Yes. And during this Easter Sunday, he said, don't forget to keep the love in your heart. Don't forget to keep that grace that's within you. He said it's important to keep walking in who you are called to be because he said he got a message for you if you're willing to get in a room with him. And again, you guys, not only am I a mentor, not only do I do coaching, but I'm also an advocate for change. And today, what I want to talk to you about is why you need the thorn to carry your revelation in this season. Because if you like me, have you ever walked into a room where you felt like you didn't belong? Like the space felt too big? Or the assignment felt too weighty? Ooh. And well, yeah, you felt too small. Maybe it was with a job, maybe it was with a relationship, maybe it was with ministry, or maybe it was with a move that you had to make in life. You know that God opened some doors for you. But now you're wondering if you have what it takes to stay in those rooms. Mm. Or maybe you have been isolated in this season where God stripped everything that was familiar from you. Or maybe you were in a season where you felt unseen, forgotten, or uncomfortable, like you were in a waiting period with no real ETA on how to get there. Well, today, I want to tell you that was not punishment. That was your preparation. Yep, that was your preparation. That's because you're in a season where you are being called to be stretched. Yeah, you're being stretched in this season. We all are being stretched in this season because God is making room for his power to work through you, to work through us. He said he needs his power to work through us, not just around us, but through us. And he said, in order for us to carry the kind of revelation, influence, and purpose that he needs to entrust us with in this season. Ooh, he says something has to die. Something in you still has to die, whether that's your ego, whether that's your need for control, whether that's your need for self sufficiency, or whether that's your pride, because your strength can't carry it. He said, your strength can't carry it in this season. He said, the only thing that can carry it in this season is his grace. Ooh. And he said, he going to remind us about this thorn. And the thorn comes through Apostle Paul. If you read 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8 through 10, this is when Paul has said, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But God said no to me. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in your weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. In this season, he said that thorn won't hurt you, but it will ground you in this season. And just like Paul had a heavenly revelation, ooh, and God gave him that thorn to keep him humble, even though Paul begged. Paul begged for him to take it. Paul begged 3 times for him to take it. And God didn't, because the thorn was a gift in disguise. He said sometimes that thorn that's in us is a disguise. Because in this season, many of us are being trusted with insight. Ooh, he said he's entrusting some of us with more insight, more visibility, and more responsibility. But it comes from us understanding that we can't be tempted to think that we're doing this in our own strength, that this is our own doing. So he has to keep the thorn in you in order to preserve what he is doing with you. He said that thorn is what's going to keep you humble in this season. He said, how else is he going to stretch you into your surrenderance? He said he's trying to stretch you into a surrenderance. Ooh. He said, so when you feel too weak, it is often because he said, when you are feeling too weak, it is often for him to know that you are depending on his strength. He wants you to know that this is not your own strength. He is intentionally stretching you beyond your own capacity. So you cannot stop learning who he is. He said, because he needs you to carry his Holy Spirit. He said that's why he first taught us how to step into the spirit. Mm-hmm. Ooh. He said because in this season you're not being broken down. You're not. He said he's not breaking you down. He said rather he's breaking you open. He's breaking you open because God can't pour through a person who is full of themselves. He said if you're full of yourself, I can't pour through you. That's why he said it's so important to stretch you into your surrenderance. Mm. He said he has to get us to a point in life where we say, God, we can't do this without you. We can't push any further than where we're going without you. Mm. He said, and that's where he wants us. He said, that's where he's calling us to. He said, because when you get to this spot in life, that's because you know you're at the end of who you think you are. You at the end of yourself. And then he's able to work through you. Mm. He said that's why it's power. That's why it's power in the path of you dying to yourself. He said there's power in that. He said we can't walk in the fullness of our calling until we die to the path of us that wants to be seen, to be right, or to be in control. He says, stop it. Remember me. He said, remember me. He said, I didn't just die for us. He said, rather, I showed you how to die to self. Ooh. He said, it's, that's why in Philippians chapter 2:5 says, let this mind be in you, which also is in Christ Jesus. Because Jesus showed us how to humble ourselves. Yeah. He said, that's why I had to show you how to humble yourself, even to the point of death. I had to show you how to humble yourself to that. Oh, he said, because unless you're able to die to self and unless you're able to pick up your cross, God can't exalt you. He said he couldn't even exalt me until I died to self. Mm. He said, so if you want to be raised up, you first have to lay down your own life. He said, you first got to lay down your own life. He said, because if you remember, and if y'all been rocking with me in any of my other videos, he said, no man could take my life. He said, either I lay it down. He said, you got to get to the point in life where you are okay with laying your life down for him. Ooh, yeah. He said, because your weakness is the soil where God power grows. He said, when you get to this point and your weakness is now showing, that's the soil where God power can start growing. He said, so when you stop trying to prove yourself and just let God use you, that's when you know something has shifted. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said, and remember how Paul stopped pleading for the thorn to go away and he started praising God for it because he realized it was the channel for divine power. He said sometimes in culture, we're told to glow up, to boss up, but the kingdom works differently. Mm-hmm. It's in our broken places that God shows up the strongest. It ain't a boss up season. This ain't a glow up season. This is a surrendering season of your spirit. Ooh, of your spirit. Yeah. He said, and when you really, really get to this point, it's because you understand that we are living in an era, in a world that is hungry for authenticity, not perfection, authenticity. We don't need people who look strong in this season. We need people who've been through something and still came out with grace, who still came out with love in their heart, who still came out with the understanding that God can still use me despite all of the things that I've been through, despite all the brokenness. Ooh, that you understand that that thorn keeps you relatable. That pain, that unseenness, that hurt, all of that is just for that you could be relatable to the people who he's called you to. He says, so the stretching keeps you dependent on him. That thorn keeps you dependent on him. That thorn reminds you that this is not your power. This is not your strength, but that he works through you, that he gave it to you. Ooh. He said, and dying to self keeps you effective. He said, in order for you to be effective, you got to understand that it is a continuation of you dying to yourself. He said, that's why he tells us this is a daily renewal. This is a daily renewal. Ooh, this is a daily forgiveness. This is a daily choice to stay with him, despite any opposition that come up against you. That you can say, Lord, I trust you anyway. That, Lord, I understand that you didn't die for me to remain the same. And that you showed me how to get up out that grave and be resurrected. Ooh. He said, this is a reminder on Easter that your resurrection has got purpose in it. He said, so don't stray away. Ooh, you guys in this season. He said, don't stray away from him. If you know that you're not going to stray away from God in this season, put it in the comments and say, God, I trust you anyway. That I want you to lift me anyway. He said, because when he's stretching you, he said, because he's stretching you in this season. You can't reach people who you're trying to impress in this season. You can't reach them. But you can reach them through your weakness, through your testimony, through you staying humble. He said that's how you're going to reach his people. In Philippians 1:27-30 says, for it has been granted to you on behalf of Christ, not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him. He said, when you get to this spot in life, you understand that suffering isn't a sign that you're off track. It is a sign that you're being formed for your purpose. And the thorn does not mean you're broken. It means you're being shifted. He said, so understand when you are being shifted in this perspective. He said, in this season, when you're being shifted, it is going to feel uncomfortable because you're walking into territory you never occupied. You're walking into rooms you never knew you had access to. So you feel small. But he said, but when you understand his power he put in you, when you understand the confidence that he put into you, and when you understand that the faith that he has in you can do all things, he said that's because you understood what this dying of self was really about. Ooh. He said that's why he tells us to stay humble. Humble. He said, humble yourself. He said, I had to humble myself. Jesus. He said, you know, I had to humble myself even unto death. I had to stay humble, knowing I was finna get up on the cross of not my own doing. He said, that's why I teach you the grace that's in me. He said, that's why I teach you the humility that's inside of me. Because when you got to get up on your cross, he said, you got to do it gracefully. You got to still do it with love. So that's why he tells us we can't hold on to this anger. We can't hold on to this hate. He said, you can't hold on. He said, rather do you understand forgiveness? He said, you got to have forgiveness for folks. He said, and most of all, you got to have forgiveness for yourself. Because sometimes you're going to doubt your own power and you're going to be asking God to take it from you. He said, but even with Paul, when Paul asked for that forgiveness, when Paul asked, take this, take this, take this 3 times, and God had to tell him no. God had to tell you no. He said, rather let me show you how to walk it out. He said, and I got to keep that thorn in you. Because when you start getting strength, I don't want you to think it's your power. He said, I don't want you to think it's your power in this season. He said, I want you to understand that this is my power. So I got to keep that thorn to keep you humble, to keep you relatable, to keep you authentic, to keep you in my grace. Because then you will understand I'm sufficient. He said in this season, he's calling for efficiency through you now. He said, so don't look at his thorn as a curse. He said, it's not a curse. He said, don't resist this process. Don't resist this process. He said, lean into this process. He said, that's why he tells you to fall in love with the process. He said, because this journey of falling in love with this process, it keeps you humble. It keeps order steps in you. Ooh. He said, you don't need your strength in this season. You need more surrendering. It's not about grinding harder in this season. This is about letting God's grace do the heavy lifting for you. He said he's showing you, let him do the heavy lifting. He said, let that thorn be a reminder that you did not get here by your own strength. Ooh, you can't carry this by yourself. You can't carry this by your own wisdom in this season. And he said, you're not being crushed. You are being carved into something useful. He said, I'm carving you into something useful for him to be able to effectively use him for his people in this season. He says, so let that thorn humble you. Let the stretching grow you. And let dying to self unlock doors for you through his power. He said, and don't get scared of it. Rather, walk through it. He said, if you need a break, take a break. He said, but don't get stale. He said, rather, keep picking up that cross and keep walking. Because he said, when he see it gets heavy for you, he will help you lift it. But that's only if you understand that this suffering ain't to break you. He said, so stop fighting his thorn in this season. Stop shrinking in your own stretching. He said, and stop resisting the death of the old mindset. He said, stop resisting it. He said, that old version of you is gone, it's dead. He said, on Easter Sunday, you got to remember that old self had to die so he can resurrect you. He said, that new mindset now has to rise up. That new mindset now has to catch up to where the spirit has led you to. He said, so don't get scared of it. Don't resist it. He said, rather fall in love with it. Because on the other side of this, there is glory. He said, there is power, and there is a testimony that is not just going to change your life, but it is going to change the life of the people that he wants your purpose to reach. And you got to let it reach him. He said, so don't resist in this season. He said, rather allow that thorn in you to humble you, to teach you, and that you lean into it. It is your girl, Trisha, checking back in with the Easter message that tells you there is passion in this thorn. There is grace in your sufficiency. And in this season, if you walk into it, if you step into it, he will unleash a power so mighty in you that can't be denied. But you can't resist it. And you got to understand that this is your resurrection. And that old mindset now had died. He says, so stay in your new mindset. Stay in your new rhythm. Stay in your new vibration. And let him work it out for you. Again, it is your girl, Trisha. And y'all know my famous saying, this is each one teach one season. If you see your brother or sister crown tipping, help them fix it. You ain't got to tell them. Just help them fix it. This is a season where we help and bridge each other back to Christ. And you can't do it if you want to hold back. Rather, you got to be able to embrace. He said, embrace. This is a call for love. He said, if you don't do anything else, remember that this is all done in the name of love. He said, love is what's going to sustain you. His love is what unlocks doors. Stop hiding yourself. You can step out of them shadows and embrace who you are. Embrace the love that's inside of you. Embrace the quirkiness that's inside of you. He said these things is to keep you humble. It's to keep you stretching. Lean into it. Again, it is your girl Trisha at below. My information is below. If you're feeling led, you can sow a seed. I left my email that if you want to be able to get in contact with me, you can always send me an email. Because in this season, we in a new mindset. We in a new stretch. You in a whole new resurrecting season. And I want to be able to help you effectively know how to use it and move in it. That's only if you're ready. Yes, only if you're ready. Let's connect.